we're going to do a little training today. And I want everybody to just be really honest with me. Put a 1 in the chat. Get your chat fingers ready, please. I would really appreciate your answers. 1 in the chat if you did the Money Monday checklist this week. Put a 0 in the chat if you did not do the Money Monday checklist this week. Okay, good. So if you wonder why I might make more money than you. No, just joking. Okay. No, but like this checklist it was such a breakthrough for me. So let me tell you, okay, we're going to do a short story before we get into this. I was a brand new baby business consultant, right? I walked into this consulting firm in Portland, Oregon. I had built and sold my own business. I felt like, I was having all these women ask me, like, how did you do that? I was like, I'd love to become a business coach. I had never been to college. So I was like, and I never had a job, right? Like, I was like, I've had a business, but I have no college degree and I've never had a corporate job before. So I had no idea how to apply for a job. So I walked into a consulting firm, one of the most prestigious consulting firms in the US. It's been around since 1980s, right? And I just walked in the reception. I didn't even bring a resume. I was just like, are you guys hiring? I was wearing jeans, okay? And the receptionist looked at me like I was crazy because I totally was to do this. And she's like, I don't know. I was like, well, I want to become a consultant. I own my own business and I'm just curious if you guys are hiring consultants. And she's like, well, did you bring a resume? And I was like, no. I didn't even know how to put one together, right? And luckily for me, the owner of the consulting firm walked behind me as I was saying this. I had no idea who was behind me. And he turned to me and he goes, you owned and sold your own business. And remember, I'm like this little twig, right? 5 feet tall, just turned 30, right? And I was like, yeah, I owned a cleaning company and I sold it. And now, I'd love to become a business consultant. He's like, come with me. And he did a job interview with me in his office and hired me for a paid internship on the spot. So there I was, brand new, right? About a year into the internship, I finally got my very first client, okay? 1 year later. And I started to notice that I could not get these women, these clients, to look at their numbers. Raise your hand if you love looking at numbers. That's your favorite thing to do in the whole world. Nobody said, absolutely nobody, right? So I was like, how do I get these people to do this? And so I made the Money Monday checklist and I told them, this is how I'm going to make you a millionaire this year. And guess what? They started doing it consistently. And I just hammered on just this one thing for months. And by the end of that year, 2 of those clients had started making $1 million a year in their business. Okay. After never having made that much money in their lives. So again, I know this thing works. It has now been used in hundreds and hundreds of my clients' businesses. And I want you guys to become so obsessed with it that you would rather shave your head than not do the Money Monday checklist. Okay, so now that you know why I think it's so important, let's actually go look at the checklist. So it's in this module called Boring Businesses. Who here wants their business to be a little bit more boring? Anybody? Yeah, it would be nice, right? Yes, we will take boring. So this section called Make It Boring, you just go all the way down and it says Money Monday. And the first thing we're going to read to you is this section right here. Most entrepreneurs run their business on hope math. Who can relate? Running your business a little bit on hope math. I hope I get clients this month. I hope I can go viral. I hope, right? I hope I'll post consistently, okay? This is how we replace hope with data, okay? You can have all the intuition in the world. I know a lot of women, I know a lot of men who run their business on intuition. And sometimes they're absolutely right and it looks miraculous. And other times they are freaking wrong. And if they had just looked at their numbers, they would have known. So I'm a big fan of looking at the data, using the data to make data-driven decisions, and then checking with your gut or your heart or whatever organ of your body feels good to you and going, is this the right way for me to go, right? But if you're not basing it on data, we're really just shooting in the dark, okay? The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to stop reacting to things and start making proactive decisions that create profit. So the very first step is we analyze our data. And the way we do this matters a lot. So if you're VIP, then you should have already your Use My Stats dashboard. It was in your onboarding call. You were supposed to reach out to us and get your login. A lot of the times that falls through the cracks, I'm realizing. So I've been beefing up. I've been really haranguing Samantha, my virtual assistant, going, I need every VIP to have her dashboard set up. So you should be getting an email if you don't have it already. But I'm going to show you what this looks like. And I actually have a client who I did this with this morning, and she gave me permission to share her numbers. So this is a business that does, actually, let's look, around 50 to 60K a month. Okay. So obviously she's a little bit further along than some of you, but she's also a little further behind others, right? Some of you are doing a lot more than that. And so what we do every month is we look at her numbers in a graph format. We're not just looking at them in a spreadsheet. We're not just logging into Facebook and seeing what the number is and not even having a way to compare it to anything else. We are graphing the numbers. And the reason why is because when you have a dashboard like this, we can predict what will happen. So when you first look at this, you're gonna be like, Sarah, I can't predict shit. I don't know what I'm looking at. But when you start to learn this skill of statistic analysis, you will be able to predict very easily what's going to happen in your business. So I'll give you an example. Right now, the core number that we would track in any business, of course, would be its revenue, right? She is a healthcare professional. So in her industry, we call that collections, and we differentiate it from production. So on any given week, she might produce, let's say, $10,000 worth of services that week, meaning she delivered that value to her clients. But because she has to bill insurance before she ever gets paid, the production and the collections are never the same. They're never the same because she does not get paid ahead of time. She has to do the work and then bill later, right? So who can tell me what's wrong with this problem right here? We've got collections in this nice uptrend for the whole year, and production is starting to dip down. What does that tell me? Someone, look at your crystal ball. Look at the future. What is going to happen in the future?
People aren't paying? Are they not paying, Sarah?
That's not necessarily it, because the collections is the
Oh,
dollar.
I'm sorry. I thought that was receivables.
I know.
That's
Yeah. So
outstanding.
this
That's
is
not
collections,
outstanding.
meaning it's already been collected. So that's how
Got
much
it.
she banked.
There's a lag time in when you get paid.
Sure.
That's right. And what's happening with the production numbers?
Going
The production
down.
numbers are going down. So she's collecting on I know because I bill insurance. So she's collecting right now on the higher months. And then she might have a higher production month with lower revenue because it's like 60 days sometimes to get a claim.
Right.
It's usually about 30 to 60, 45 days.
So I want you to think in futures, and Christy is almost right. If the production continues to downtrend, what will happen to the collections eventually? They're going to dry up. There's going to be nothing to collect because she's not producing as much as she used to. She used to produce enough that she was able to collect that amount. After a while, that is going to die out, right? So if I was only graphing collections would feel completely out of my freaking control. Who here sometimes feels like their income is completely out of their control? They have no way to cause it whatsoever. That's because you're only looking at that one number. But if we look at what adds up to it, right? So already I can see a red flag of like, oh, the production has been low, which means collections is going to be low. So I need to boost up the production. So then sometimes though, we look at that and we go, well, okay, but I can't think of any other way I could be more productive. So you have to break it down even more. So let's look at some other graphs. Dollars per exam has continued to go up. We had one slight down, right? But overall the trend is up, but the production is down. Does that make any sense to you if you think about it? We're making more per exam, but we're producing less. Why? Well, the answer is right here. We're doing less exams. She's struggling to keep the schedule filled, right? And so because the schedule is not full, she's trying to sell harder the people who do come in, which is probably going to piss them off after a while, and they're going to stop buying, right? we do that too hard, if we oversell people, we're just like squeezing $1 out of every person we talk to. After a while, it gets a little annoying, right? And at the same time, it's not even enough because the production's still going down. Can you guys see causation here? If you track enough numbers and you graph them, income becomes predictable and causative, right? So let's come back to our Money Monday checklist. When I say analyze your data, are you actually analyzing your data if you just look at, I made this much last month and then walk away? No, that was useless, right? Maybe it's useful for budgeting, but it's useless in terms of actually predicting what your income will be in the future. So I want you to put in the chat, what are some numbers that if you tracked and graphed would predict what your income will be in the future? And I've got some examples for you, right? Obviously, total number of sales, because sales will equal revenue, right? How about also your funnel metrics? Number of opt-ins, number of click-throughs, right? Number of purchases. Those will add up to revenue. What about website traffic? Email performance, open rates, number of emails sent, right? What about all your statistics from your social media that are tied to conversion? Not just likes, but like number of people who viewed it, number of people who clicked it, right? Number of people who commented and started a conversation with you. Do you think if you were tracking those numbers, you would be able to predict your income? Maybe, right? Okay, I don't see anything in the chat, so give me some answers here. Give me at least one example of a number that if you tracked that number, you know you could predict your income. For profit hour, we have like conversation started, right? Number of DMs sent. Good. Amy, sales. Good. What else? What adds up to sales? Where do the sales come from? Yeah, good. Freebies sent. I love that, Christy. That's great. Leads. Good. Good, Kim. And then even behind that, where did the leads come from? Good. Amy, that's great. Webinars done. Good. Number of attendees at webinars, right? Jolene, outreach. Good. Social media following. Good. Yeah, email list, right? Number of subscribers, good. So you guys see how not just having these numbers in a spreadsheet, but also looking at them graphically, that's where the crystal ball comes in, okay? So give me a thumbs up if I've convinced you that you're going to look at your numbers and analyze them once a week. Yeah, okay, good. So now let's do the next step. So let's say we've analyzed. These are the two questions I'm asking myself when I analyze. What's trending down and needs attention? What's already working that I should double down on? You guys want to see a great example of how I make business decisions? Here's a really good one. Ready? Let's look at my graph. Okay, this is my business. Notice something interesting. Revenue, nice little uptrend there. This is weekly, right? Sales, nice little uptrend there. Pinterest impressions. A couple of months ago, I realized that Pinterest was driving my landing page views up very nicely, but it was not resulting in sales. In other words, my Pinterest content was attracting the wrong type of person to my website. And so I was actually getting this like false vanity metrics of like, ooh, I'm getting lots of clicks, lots of views, but no conversions. So I stopped focusing on it while I'm actually looking to hire a new Pinterest expert, because my Pinterest guy, he's the one who like makes all the pins and whatnot. And I was like, he's clearly doesn't know what he's doing, because these are beautiful pins. They're very aesthetic. I liked them. I was approving them. I was helping him do the keyword research. They were attracting the wrong people, right? So I took my attention off of that and put my attention over here on Instagram. And boom, right? Sales started to take off. Revenue started to go up, right? So again, what's working that I should double down on? What's trending down that needs attention? Okay. And as I said before, we're looking not just at trends, but also cause and effect, right? What is actually causing things? Okay. So then the next step for Monday is review your monthly goal. Who here owns my planner? If you don't own my planner, oh, Christy has hers. Yay. Okay, good. Hold up the planner if you've got one. Who here did, all right, and I'm going to call you out. Who here did the monthly intention page? You set your intentions. You have a to-do list. You have monthly goals. You are tracking.
It's the next thing.
Okay, good. Good.
You really expect us to practice what we preach?
Shocking. I know. It's really hard. I'm very harsh on all of you. I'm extremely harsh on all of you having to practice what we preach. Okay. So again, look at them once a week. We're going to look at the monthly, right? Let's do this. Sarah says, launch real estate course. Did I do that this month? Yes, I did, right? Revamp one-to-many selling in progress. Launch new high ticket offer. That's happening tonight at 6 p.m., right? So every month I put my top 3 priorities, and then every Monday I take the next steps to accomplish those, and I put them on the weekly to-do list. Shocking. Right? I know it sounds stupid, but you'd be shocked and amazed how often I will speak to a VIP client on a one-on-one client, and we'll be like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then I talk to them the next month. They're like, oh, I forgot I was supposed to do that. Why did you forget? It's not because you're too busy. It's not. It's not because you're too busy. It's because you don't do Money Monday. That's why you forget. You don't do Money Monday. And so you set these goals at the beginning of the month, and then all month long you go in a circle, really, really busy, but not as productive as you want to be. And that is how we make the difference. Michelle, the graph that I was showing you is called usemystats.com. And VIPs have a free account, okay, with up to 5 graphs. So just reach out to Sam at ask@sarahnicolenadler.com. And she's supposed to be reaching out to you if you don't have one yet, because that was part of onboarding. It kind of fell through the cracks. So she got my little boot of her butt, and she's going to now make sure everybody has one. Okay. So review your monthly goals. What are my top 3 priorities for this month? What are the 3 actions I could take this week to move those priorities forward? Because there's a lot of other things you can do to stay busy that week, but only those things will get momentum and like actually move you forward, right? Good. Then we're going to batch our marketing content. So this is where we should be having a 90-day marketing plan. Why 90 days? Because most research has shown, right? Most content marketing hits its peak of productivity at the 6-week mark. So if you're changing your topic or changing your marketing method or changing your strategy every month, that's 4 weeks, not 6. Okay. So when we hit 90 days, we just go, I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to be consistent at it for 90 days before I decide that it didn't work. Now, I understand sometimes that can have cash flow impact on you, right? You're like, it's not working. I can't survive 90 days doing something that doesn't work. So that's why we do Monday, and we do the monthly check-in, and we go, okay, do I need to tweak the strategy? Because tweaking a strategy is different than throwing a baby out with the bathwater, right? So every 90 days, we want to have a marketing plan of here's the thing I'm going to be consistent at, right? Jolene, how many times did you do your webinar every week? I feel like you've done it 100 times.
I don't know how many times. I think probably 15-ish.
Yeah, 15 weeks in a row being consistently doing the same thing, right? That's how we build the skill. That's how we actually get sales, right? Is we are consistent. So first we're going to have a quarterly marketing plan. Then every week we're going to batch our content, and we're going to ask ourselves, what's this week's campaign, topic, call to action, whatever. Is my content aligned with what I'm trying to sell, right? And check in on that quarterly plan and make sure we're consistently doing that thing that we said we were going to do for this quarter, right? So right now we should be 1 month into a 90-day cycle in your marketing content. So I'm going to pause here and show you guys a couple of things that have come up recently. And the reason why I added some extra module, an entire module, right? A couple of extra lessons to social media mastery this year. Because in the past, right, we've just taught what have we taught in the past, right? We've taught the hero content method, right? Writing one long form piece of content and then using that to batch all the other content to just drive traffic to it, like a blog or a going live or a webinar or something, right? Something that's the sales machine. And then your social media content just drives traffic to that sales machine, whatever it is, right? So I've taught that for years. I've taught the post types for years, right? These are the types of posts that produce income, not just likes, right? And we've taught profit hour. But there is sales psychology behind messaging that makes it work. And I was really noticing that there is a lack of skill sometimes in these specific things. So I've been doing this with some of my VIPs of just actually working on what I call your social media magic extraction. Like, how do we extract out of you the pieces of you and the pieces of your expertise that your audience needs to see consistently to want to buy from you? Okay. And one of those, as I said before, is these 3 buying catalysts: safety, belonging, and identity. So I'm actually going to pull up, Kim, did you say yes? Hold on. Let's go back to Kim. I want to make sure I have permission before I share this. Okay, yeah, she said yes. Okay, good. We worked on this yesterday, Kim and I. Looking at her content, it was clear that she is like an inch away from having content that would actually produce sales and like outreach, right? And so we put this together, and I want to show you guys how we apply these 3 different principles of safety, belonging, and identity. So safety is created in your buyer when you reflect back to her what she is currently struggling with. Okay, so think about your one thing, the thing that you want to be known for, or what topic you're talking about on social media. I want you to give me an example of safety, right? What is some language you can create that will create a sense of safety? She goes, oh, I should trust Angie because she gets me, right? Oh, I should trust Anne because she gets me. I should trust Kim because she gets me. We create that catalyst by reflecting back to her what she's currently struggling with, okay? So here's a great example of that we did with Kim yesterday. She did a post that was, most people don't expect donkeys to do this, which is a great hook. Okay, it was a reel of her training her donkey, and the hook was, most people don't expect donkeys to do this. That was a great hook. What happened was Kim was mushing belief shifting with the value post, and it wasn't either one. And because it wasn't either one, it was kind of like this mush of both. It didn't have the pieces that would make someone actually reach out to her. So she got a lot of engagement on the post, but no comments, no reach out saying, hey, I want to buy from you, right? So what's the first thing we do? We have to create a sense of safety by reflecting back to her the problem, the struggle, the thing she's actually not enjoying experiencing right now. So for Kim, it was, you walk your donkey up to an obstacle course, let's say a bridge, they stop dead, won't move, ears forward. Mom, that looks like a monster, right? So this is the problem, okay? So give me yours. Let's do it in the chat. I'm going to share the slide again. Give me in the chat, what is a statement that could create safety for your dream client by reflecting to them the lived experience they're trying to escape? Yeah, I just put mine. What's yours? And that's good. That's really good. Jillian, I don't see safety there. I would make it more speaking to her lived experience. So fake it till you make it is close, but what does that actually manifest as?
I think I'm trying to hit that they have no resources to be able to refer and ask questions. Like, you don't have to fake it. You actually can have somebody who you can rely on to go through the process, and right.
Jolene, are you working on new buyers or just anybody? or like new
agent-
to real estate?
Residential agents who are experienced in residential, but would like the opportunity and need the opportunity to be able to get into commercial real estate.
Is that what you say? I sell houses and I want to sell buildings. How do I
Check
get
out
there?
the one I put in the chat, Jolene. A potential client reaches out to you asking if you're a commercial agent, and you say yes, and then cringe internally because it feels like a big fat lie. You
Okay,
see
yeah.
how that's a description of a lived experience as opposed to telling her what it is. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
So try
Okay.
give me another example in the chat. Christy, you find yourself feeling resentful that yet again you are taking care of someone else. That is beautiful. That is like mwah, chef's kiss in terms of like, I need to learn how to set boundaries. Angie, revolving door, helping others, but really you're fading into your own life and don't understand who you are in anymore. Okay, that one's good, but I feel like it's maybe a little bit vague. I can't quite see what the problem solution gap is going to be there. So making sure it's clear enough what it is you sell. Andy, you offer service but afraid of being perceived as a fraud. Yeah, these are good. Okay, good. So you guys are seeing this is how we create safety. We create a sense of safety and we make people lean in because they go, oh, I see myself and I see my problem in what you just described. Yeah, Michelle, that's perfect. You find yourself reacting the same way over and over again, yet it's clearly not aligned with who you're trying to become, right? Good. So now we're going to create tension between that lived experience and the one she deeply desires. And when we create that tension, we create a sense of belonging. Okay. So belonging is created when we can describe a specific experience she is craving. Guys, will you do me a favor and mute because it's getting a little bit loud over here? So going from, right, I couldn't sleep, I have insomnia, to you slip into bed, your body isn't buzzing with anxiety, you fall asleep within minutes without melatonin or scrolling to numb out, right? So that would be perfect. It's the experience she's craving to have. So give me an example of the experience she's craving to have. Using the same one that you just described, the same problem. What is her dream outcome? And I love that. You're ready to sit at your computer, answer emails. Your team has already responded to half of them on your behalf. That is beautiful. Yes.
Sarah, this is helpful. Thank you for pushing me to join, and I appreciate the exercises. So thank you, thank you,
No
thank
problem.
you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I know we're running a little bit over. I'm going to spend a few more minutes to finish this part of the lesson. If you guys have to hop off, it's totally okay. There will be a replay in the chat or in the community. Okay, Jolene, getting your client confidently and smoothly. Good, but now instead of getting, it's you get, right? Put her in the future. Put him in the future. Now imagine you confidently and smoothly get your client through a commercial transaction and they hand you a check for $60K, right? So put it in the present tense. You want a same thing for you, Michelle. Instead of you want to, now imagine you are, right? That's the kind of language we want to use, is putting them in the future by using present tense. Yeah, Andy, good. You have helped someone, right? That's almost past tense, which is great. She's like, I've already done it, right? I have helped someone that wants to come back to you for more guidance. Good. Okay, you guys starting to see this? Okay. So now there's another piece of this. We don't have to use all three on every post or in every piece of content, but we definitely want to use safety, and we can choose to either do belonging, which is that lived experience that she's craving, or identity. Who does she deeply desire to be seen as or become? Right? So for me, it's easy. It's like she wants to be a millionaire. She wants to be the rich bitch. She wants to stop being the broke baddie and become the rich queen, right? How do we show her that identity? We do it by describing the who, not the what or the have. Okay, so not the lived experience anymore, but the who you're going to become. You're the woman who sets the tone for the whole house. Calm, clear, grounded. People ask how you stay so steady. You smile because it's just who you are, right? It's so natural that she doesn't even have to think about it. Okay. So Michelle, this one is, you want to make confident and aligned decisions. That is still a do. We want a who, an identity that she's become. So again, I'm going to show you guys an example here, right? You become the human he trusts most and would follow anywhere. That's the donkey example, right? Who is your audience going to become as a result of your offer, right? So Christy, yours would be very similar to the one I shared earlier of like, you are now the woman who sets the tone for the whole house. You set the boundaries. You are the one who controls the relationship, right? You are the adult in that relationship now. Okay, good. So now let's take a look at this through the lens of the types of content, because we can make this same hook and this same, belief shift. We can make it a belief shifting post, or we could make it a value post, depending on how we use it. So let's go belief shifting first. Okay. And I want to show you guys the formula. Let's look at our belief shifting post. And when we don't follow this formula, we don't get the result of someone reaching out and being like, I want to take action. So belief shifting post is content that helps your dreamy client shift a false or limiting belief and demonstrate thought leadership in your niche. Okay. So how is thought leadership created? Thought leadership is created when we can demonstrate a unique angle, right? A unique selling point. Like Amy in that very first thing we were looking at with Amy today, we saw her unique selling point very clearly, right? That's thought leadership. Thought leadership also comes from bold takes, opinions that you have that wake people up, your hot take, your myth busting truth, things that your competitors saying that you completely believe the opposite. Okay. Thought leadership is also your unique way of teaching or seeing things. So when I tell you, right, if you go to any investment coach, they're going to say buy low, sell high in the stock market, right? I don't say buy low, sell high. I say go buy designer value stocks at clearance prices, right? That's thought leadership. I have a unique and signature way of teaching or explaining or describing or seeing things. Okay. So when we're doing a belief shifting post, we want to not only shift a false belief, but also demonstrate thought leadership in our niche. So here's a great example for Kim. Most people don't expect donkeys to do this. You walk your donkey up to an obstacle course, let's say a bridge, they stop dead, won't move, ears forward. Mom, that looks like a monster, right? So now I am creating safety, but here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to demonstrate thought leadership. Most equine coaches would tell you, just put a chain under his chin and force him through it. But I have found that this does the opposite of what we want. Instead of deepening connection, love, and trust, you get a donkey who's acting from fear, and that's why they get the label as stubborn. So I created a belief shift in you by demonstrating thought leadership at the same time. So now you trust me. Instead of being a peer-to-peer conversation, you're looking up at me, right? That's what we want if we're going to actually get sales. Okay. People have to actually trust you. And that's where that trust comes from. Now imagine this. What am I doing here? Who can tell me what this is? You walk up the bridge, your donkey willingly walks right beside you, steps up on the bridge, and the sense you feel of trust and connection between you two is a lightened weight in your chest. What did I just create in my buyer? I created a sense of belonging. A sense of belonging. That's right, Chrissy, by explaining or describing the lived experience that they crave. I create a sense of belonging. They go, I belong in Kim's world. That is what I should be. And they look at their current life and they go, ugh. And they look at what you're describing and they go, yes, that's what I want. I belong there, but I'm not there. And that creates tension. And that tension causes them to move, take action, buy from you. Okay? That is what we're creating here. So then I also used identity. You walk out with clarity, knowing that your donkey will happily go through the obstacle course, right? That part is belonging, because you become the human he trusts most and would follow anywhere. That is the identity, right? I give her the identity shift she wants, and she goes, yes, I will buy. That is where premium buyers come from. People pay high ticket when you're going to shift who they are, okay? So notice this is a belief shifting post. It does not have a call to action because it doesn't need one. People will start reaching out to you and start saying, how do I learn from you? What is the best way to come into your world? They will start asking you because you caused them to want to move. What's interesting is we can use much of the same language, barely changing anything, and make it a value post instead, using the gap, how to do positive reinforcement by just tweaking the formula of the post. So same hook. Most people don't expect donkeys to do this. But this time, to create thought leadership, instead of me doing that belief shift that I did before, right, of like showing my unique selling point, instead we're going to use, because it's a value post, we're going to use a content brag, right? Champagne toast brag. We're going to brag a little about ourselves. As an equine coach and 30-year horse pro, I worked with this donkey, Cody, for several months, took him from don't touch me to the calm, happy little guy you see here, because it's a video, right? So they can see him being all happy in the video. So guess what? I just created that same thing where instead of being peer-to-peer, she's now looking up at me and going, oh, this person knows what they're doing, okay? And then I'm going to do my I get you. You walk your donkey up to an obstacle course, right? Notice how this is the exact same content as I used up here. Why? Because that creates a sense of safety. It's safe to tell Kim what I'm struggling with because she knows. She's already got it. What I'm saying won't be crazy to her. It creates a sense of safety and makes them reach out to you. If you're not using language to create a sense of safety, they might love what you're saying, but they're not going to feel safe talking to you about their problem because they're going to think your life is fucking perfect and you've never made a mistake and you will probably judge them when they tell you. Okay? I can't tell you how many people I've thought about hiring to help me lose weight, but didn't because they never described their safety, right? And I went, that person's perfectly in shape, never seems to overeat, never seems to eat a single damn pastry, and I'm not going to tell them how much I weigh, right? There's no sense of safety created for me, and so I don't hire them, right? Oftentimes people are embarrassed about their mistakes. This is how we overcome that. Okay, and again, notice it's the exact same statement. I changed nothing, not a single word. But this one is a value post because I'm following a different formula. We're using the content brag instead, right? And this happens because, right, I'm going to create a very clear gain in this post. That's why it's a value post. I'm going to give them actual value, make them actually go, oh, I learned something from her that I had never known before. And I went out and I applied it with my donkey and it worked. And I'm going to come back and buy from you, right? So instead of just doing a belief shift, we're going to actually teach something here. But we're also going to leave a gap. This happened because you're training from a place of fear, pain, et cetera, right? Here's what that looks like. You walk up to the bridge using positive reinforcement, patience, and a whole lot of Texas attaboy, right? So I tell them enough about how to do it that they go, oh, she has a method. And now I describe the sense of belonging, right? I give them that sense of belonging by describing the lived experience that they wish they could have. Now, notice what I'm going to do here. And Michelle, I hope you're paying attention. This typically takes my clients 3 to 6 weeks. What did I do there? I threaded an offer. Did I say buy from me? Did I say you need to buy blah, 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 blah? I threaded an offer. It's very subtle, but it very clearly states that there is something to buy, right? So this typically takes my clients blah, blah, blah time to really create a calm sense of security and safety in a donkey who has previously been untouchable or not familiar with the obstacle course. So I show you that there is an offer. But the result is, and then the rest of this is exactly the same as the earlier one, right? There's my identity, there's my sense of belonging, and then there's just a call to action. See how by following this content formula, we are literally making the person like boom, 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 all the things that person needs to hear and needs to feel to want to reach out to you. Okay. So when I say batch your content, let's come full circle, because this was not a lesson on social media content, right? This is a lesson on how to make your business do the work for you, right? How do we make business boring? If we're just posting content to be consistent, we're not going to have a boring business. We have to understand the buyer psychology behind magnetic messaging in order to create content that will sell for us. And when we could do that really well, we create pieces of content that get leads and sales, and then we run ads to it. You can stop making content. Raise your hand if you'd like to stop making content. Yes, me too. Guess what? I still make content for Fierce Feminine Finance because I am a millennial who posts even when she's on freaking vacation. I love social media, and so I post all the time. And so I never stop posting for Fierce Feminine Finance. But if you go and follow Darcy Murphy, my pen name for my fiction books, you will see I post maybe once a month, less than that, because I post just enough to see what's going to get traction. And then I run ads to those and I let my ads sell for me and I stop making content. Same thing with Pemberley Farm, right? Our wedding venue. You go look at the social media platforms for Pemberley and you will see I have not posted since like 2024 because I don't need to. I have created the content and it consistently gets traffic from Pinterest, right? So this is how we do it. And it's not going to happen if we aren't looking at our numbers, analyzing what's working, what's not, reviewing our monthly goals, staying consistent with what we're supposed to get done, right? And then batching the right kind of content, not just content for content's sake. Okay, last steps here. We're going to turn our strategies into to-dos. This is mostly effective if you have a team to delegate to, obviously, but even for yourself, right? What are you actually going to get done this week? And write a to-do list for the week and then look at it once a day. Just once a day. Look at your weekly and put things on your daily. So you can make progress, right? And you don't forget what you're supposed to get done. And then, as I said before, if you have a team, get everybody on the same page. Even your VA should know what the business goals are that week and how what they're doing will contribute to the overall picture. Because when people feel like they're a part of something, they work harder, they're more productive, their morale is higher, they like working for you more because they feel like they're contributing to something that matters, okay? So hold your team meeting. And if you're like me and now you have executives in your company, run an executive meeting. Okay, and we have an entire agenda here. Ask each executive, display their own numbers. How are we doing this week? You know, how are sales going? How is, right? Like whatever you're working on, each area should report up to you, right? So you don't have to go dig yourself. Review any old business from the last meeting, take up any promotional matters if they're applicable, discuss any quality control matters, right? This is a very brief, like 10-minute meeting once a day with your executive team, if you have an executive team, right? Quality control matters. Anything I need to know as the owner, right? Any financial matters, anything I need to know as the owner, anything that we need to buy, anything that broke, right? Whatever. Personnel matters. Anything I need to know as the owner. Propose changes in policy or procedure. Review any written business plan. This is a very quick meeting. I'm sorry, did I say daily? Once a week, right? Not once a day. Sorry.